Hi crafty folks, welcome back to my channel. So I just wanted to do a really quick video about how to make fabric ties for your face masks. It's super quick and simple, and I found that it really helps me to save time. So the first thing that you need is something. I've been using cotton lycra. You can also use double brushed polyester lycra. I tend to use solid colors because they are the same on both sides, because both sides can tend to be exposed. So for instance, if I used something like this is a double brush polyester lycra. It's got this, unprinted side, and so that side could show, and so it doesn't look as professional. So you can find fabrics that are called yarn dyed knit, like this, where the black and white is not printed. The black and white is just the color of the fibers on both sides. So you can use yarn dyed or you can use solid colors. So the way that you make the ties is you take something like your cotton lycra and you lay it out, and you then cut 1-inch strips of it. So you would take this whole thing and cut it into 1-inch strips, depending on how many you needed for the number of masks that you wanted to make. And then you can also do this with plain t-shirts that you have lying around or something like that. So I've done this with a bunch of this cotton lycra. So then the next step, and what you do is you just take it by one end and you just start pulling it, and it rounds on itself and it becomes this sort of a cord that you can use. So then what I do is, I do this to a whole bunch. It gets pretty dusty, so I actually wear one of my cloth face masks when I do this because the dust is pretty obnoxious. Okay, so then the length of the fabric that I have here is 60 inches. So for me, I cut these into 15-inch measurements. So a single strip will give me enough ties for a single mask. If the fabric is not stretchy at all, then you probably want to do, so if the fabric is not stretchy at all, then you want to do 18 inches for your length, in which case you can get 3 pieces out of a 60-inch width of fabric. But if they're stretchy like this is, then you can do 15 inches, and then you can get an entire mask worth of ties out of one of these strips. Okay, so you cut them down, and then what I like to do is I take 4 pieces of my fabric straps and I knot them together so that they're sort of contained. Now this add-on video, you probably want to go watch my other mask making video if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, or if you're like, this is too advanced. Go watch my other video first and then come back and watch this one, because this is sort of a modification to that other pattern. Okay, and then previously I was doing a notch, and I was just sewing the notch up, but sometimes it would leave a little exposed edge on either side of the notch, and I didn't love that. So what I started doing is I just started folding up the entire bottom half of both pieces of my fabric instead of doing a notch. And then when I put them together, I just sew around the outside, and I just don't, I leave a couple inches at the bottom for an opening to insert a filter. So anyway, I sew all the way around, catching all 4 of these fabric straps in my stitching, and then I leave a little space here open, so then I can turn it through that hole, and then it also ends up being a little spot where you can put an additional filter into the fabric face mask. And then the last step, so then you sew around, and then if you need to, then you cut down your seam allowances, including the corners, and then you turn it inside out through that hole. And once you've got it turned inside out and you've got your corners turned out nicely, then you're just gonna pleat it. I always make sure that the pleats are facing downwards on the side that I intend to be the front. And then I just sew from about here all the way around. I catch those pleats, and then all the way around the top and then around the bottom. And I don't sew this bottom part because I leave that open so that you can insert a filter into it. So then it's a double layer of 100% cotton, and then it's got these stretchy fabric ties, and it's pleated, and that way you don't have to make bias tape. I'm not a huge fan of making bias tape, and I find that these stretchy ones are actually super comfortable for long wear, and I prefer them. So that is my method of mask making that I love the most. Anyway, so this is a bit more of an advanced tutorial. I know I went sort of quickly, so if anything doesn't make sense, feel free to leave questions in the comments, and you can also go and watch my original tutorial that I did. I'll put a link for that in the description below. And if you're just looking for a place to buy face masks, which you're probably not, but if you are, I'll put a link to my Etsy shop below. I've been selling face masks and donating them over the last couple of weeks, and it has been really exciting, and you know, it's nice to be able to help and stay productive during this crazy time that we're all experiencing. So anyway, I hope this tutorial helps. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.